Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, Serap, has launched legal action against Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State and the government of President Muhammadu Buhari at the Ecowas Court of Justice in Abuja over the brutal crackdown, repression, and grave violations and abuses of the human rights of the people of Rivers. Serap said in a suit number ECW/CCJ/APP/20/20 filed last Friday, Governor Wike is using COVID-19 as a pretext to set up repression and systematic abuses against the people of Rivers State, including by carrying out mass arbitrary detention, mistreatment, forced evictions, and imposing pervasive controls on daily life. According to Serap, Governor Wike is using Executive Orders 1 and 6, 2020 as instruments to violate and abuse the rights of liberty and freedom from arbitrary arrest and detention to a fair trial and to property, contrary to Nigeria's international human rights obligations, including under the African Charter of Human and People's Rights and international covenants on civil and political rights. Serap said this suit is primarily against Governor Wike and the Rivers State government for failing to respect, protect, and ensure the constitutionally and internationally guaranteed human rights of the people of his state. The governor has used Executive Orders 1 and 6 to run roughshod over the human rights of Nigerians. Ultimately, the federal government, being the signatory to ECOWAS treaties and protocols, cannot escape its responsibility to ensure that the human rights guaranteed under human rights treaties, to which Nigeria is a state party, are fully and effectively realized throughout Nigeria, including in Rivers State. Suing the federal government alongside Governor Wike is entirely consistent with Article 27 of the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, which provides that a state may not invoke the provisions of its internal law as justification for its failure to perform a treaty. Serap is asking the court for an order of injunction to restrain and stop Governor Wike from further using, applying, and enforcing Executive Order 1 and 6 or any other executive orders to harass, arbitrarily arrest, detain, and demolish property of the people of Rivers State. Serap is also seeking an order directing Governor Wike and the other defendants to pay adequate monetary compensation to the victims of human rights violations and abuses, and to provide other forms of reparation, which may take the form of restitution, satisfaction, or guarantees of non-repetition, and other forms of repatriation that the Honorable Court may deem fit to grant. The suit filed on Serap's behalf by its solicitors Kolawole Oluwadare, Atinuke Adeyuyigbe, and Opeyemi Owolabi read in part. Serap contends that several people were arbitrarily arrested and detained in various police stations and isolation centers in Rivers State, and without any regard for due process of law. Governor Wike and his agents used, applied, and enforced Executive Order 1 and 6 to suppress and repress the human rights of the people and business operators, including harassing, arbitrarily arresting, detaining, and torturing anyone found exercising their rights within Rivers State, all in the guise of enforcing measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the state. The wanton destruction of people's property, harassment, arrest, and detention of persons exercising their right to personal liberty and other human rights amount to an affront to the Nigerian Constitution of 1999 as amended, and the country's international human rights obligations. The executive orders, including Executive Order 6 by Governor Wike, are invalid, illegal, and unconstitutional, having not complied with the requirements of due process of law. The order by Governor Wike to demolish any hotel or guest house found operating in Rivers State is ultra via the penalty stipulated in Executive Order Number 6. Demolition of hotels and guest houses is illegal and unconstitutional as it runs afoul of the penalty stipulated in the Quarantine Act, which provides only a fine of 200 naira or imprisonment for a term of 6 months or both. The demolition is a blatant violation of Article 14 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Governor Wike demolishing workers and security agents without due process of law, demolished Prudent Hotel, Alode in Eleme, and Etemete Hotel in One on Saturday, May 9, 2020, and flagrantly breached the rights of the owners, employees, and occupiers. The demolitions were supervised by Governor Wike in the company of security agents of the federal government. Serap contends that Governor Wike, with the complicity or support of the federal government of Nigeria, carried out these demolitions without giving adequate notice, compensation, alternative hotel, or affording the victims legal remedies. Many people have now been deprived of their means of livelihood, employment and shelter, and exposed to other serious human rights violations and abuses. Serap is therefore seeking the following reliefs: a declaration that the actions of the defendants and their agents is enforcing Executive Orders 1 and 6 to harass, arbitrarily arrest, detain, and demolish property of the people of Rivers State, violate the human rights guarantee under Articles 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 14, and 15 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and relevant provisions of other human rights to which Nigeria is a state party. A declaration that the provisions of Executive Orders 1 and 6 are inconsistent and incompatible with the right to personal liberty, fair trials, freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, employment, and to property guaranteed by the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights to which Nigeria is a state party. An order of injunction stopping and restraining the defendants and their agents from further implementing and using the provisions of the Executive Order 1 and 6 or any other executive orders whatsoever to violate and abuse the rights of the people to Rivers State guaranteed under international human rights treaties to which Nigeria is a state party. Another directing the defendants to immediately repeal and or amend the Executive Order 1 and 6 and any other executive orders in line with Nigeria's obligations under international human rights treaties to which the country is a state party. And other directing the defendants and their agents individually and or collectively to respect, protect, promote, and ensure the human rights of the peoples of Rivers State during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Another directing the defendants and all their agents individually or collectively to pay adequate monetary compensation to the victims of human rights violations and abuses by the defendants and to provide other forms of reparation, which may take the form of restitution, satisfaction, or guarantees of non-repetition and other forms of reparation that the Honorable Court may deem fit to grant. Such further orders the Honorable Court may deem fit to make in the circumstances. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. So all this lawyers big English. Okay, let's see how it's going to end at the end of the day. I think they were talking about infringing on their freedom to movement and all of that. They will all get there and settle themselves and defend themselves. Lawyer Wike is a lawyer too. They say his wife is a judge too. So let them go there and defend and know what will happen at the end of the day. Of course, I think it's not even going to be Wike himself because, of course, it's going to be government of a Rivers State, and they are trying to bring in the federal government because Nigeria is a part of the federal government is part of the treaty according to what they are saying, and maybe the federal government did not do anything, meaning that the what is it called, the federal agency were there too. Maybe that's why they are putting the federal government that they ought to have stopped it. But let us see whether the executive order is going to be standing or is going to be contradicting with the human rights of Ecowas and whatever. So that is just what I need to say. But let's see how it's going to turn out at the end of the day. But before that, let's just say a few reactions from Nigerians. Someone says, so these people know there is what is ECOWAS, yet they have not summoned a federal government over herdsmen destroying people's property. Okay. Someone say, don't mind them, agents of devil. This is a useless organization from Southwest. Why Fulani herdsmen are busy killing their people? They did not drag federal government to court for the killing and the animals. Okay. Where are this useless group when the northern states have been turned to a killing field? Someone says here again that what's of in other states like Kaduna and Kwara? Is it politically motivated? The real intention should be clear. That is the right step. The river dictator must be dealt with in accordance to the law of the country as regards to human rights. That's what somebody says there. Another person says, see Abuki, you will come from the north and fight from one in his house. Mr. Man, are you okay? What about Kaduna? Somebody see asking the person, what about Kaduna, Lagos, and others? Even the federal government, where Fulani herdsmen are killing innocent farmers like chicken. Why they did not drag federal government to this court to stop killing in this country? They just rushed and sued Rivers State to court. We know your sponsor, but they have failed already. Useless people. So guys, those are the reactions of Nigerians. What do you think? Leave your comments below and let's have your take.